Welcome to this edition of Diligence Inside America's Boardrooms. I'm TK Kerstetter, and I'll be your host for today's show. Today, we're going to do some revisiting to resources for enhancing audit committee effectiveness. And joining me is Julie Bell Lindsay, who's the Executive Director for the Center for Audit Quality. Welcome, Julie.
Thank you, TK. Thanks for having me.
So the CAQ, as they call the Center for Audit Quality, has been a part of Inside America's Boardrooms in the past, and it's certainly a pleasure to have you guys as guests on the show now, because we have a little catching up to do. So for our part of the audience that's not totally familiar with the CAQ, could you update them on the CAQ's mission and its outreach?
Sure. So our mission, it's really no small feat. Our mission is to enhance investor confidence and public trust in the global capital markets. And we do that through primarily three different ways. One, fostering high quality performance by public company auditors. Two, by convening and collaborating, and this is really a key part of our mission, convening and collaborating with other stakeholders to advance the discussion of critical issues that may require action or intervention. And then the final thing is we advocate for policies and standards that really promote public company auditors' objectivity, effectiveness, and responsiveness to dynamic market conditions. And obviously, we're all living through a very dynamic market condition right now. There's three areas that I think that we are focused on that could be of interest to your viewership. One, the role of the auditor outside of historical financial information or the financial statements. Two is the attraction of talent to the public company auditing profession. And then third, the CAQ has an anti-fraud arm, or we do a lot of research around anti-fraud issues. And that is also of particular importance in this COVID and dynamic and market environment, given the heightened risk for fraud. So that's generally what our mission is, and we do a lot of convening between the auditing profession as well as other stakeholders.
So I know in the past you, again, had resources for audit committees as well. Is that something that you still do? And if so, what sort of is available to those audit committees?
Oh, absolutely. As you know, senior leaders at the SEC remind the markets from time to time. I know they did at the end of last year, and then in the COVID environment. The audit committees are key oversight for the financial reporting process for their companies, as well as external oversight of the auditor. We do have a wealth of information on our website around audit committee resources, programming, guidance. One thing that I hear repeatedly that's really helpful for audit committees is how to evaluate the external auditor. We just updated our resource on that recently, and you can find that on our website. We also have a host of resources specific to COVID and the pandemic that we've done over the past several months. I mean, obviously, this environment has created a lot of issues that audit committees need to focus on, things that they may have not had to do with their particular companies before, like going concern evaluations or goodwill impairment assessments, other types of assessments and impairment assessments. So we have a lot of resources on the website at thecaq.org. And we also have a specific audit committee tab where you can find all of these resources put together. We also just did a webisode, is what we're calling them recently, specific for audit committee members. And that is on for COVID-19 issues, and that is on the website as well.
I like that webisode. I'll have to remember that.
Yeah, that was unique. It was my team that came up with it. I did not. So I kind of like it.
So getting back to the things that you mentioned in your mission, so what other programs or research is the CAQ doing that might be of interest to board members or corporate secretaries or even general investors, which I know you're always trying to educate?
Sure. So like I said, there was three areas that I think kind of are a good representation of where our focus is currently, in addition to all the things with COVID. The first is the role of the auditor outside of financial information or historical financial information. It is without question that investors and other stakeholders are asking for and relying on information outside of the historical financial statements in making capital allocation decisions and other investment decisions. What am I talking about here? I'm talking about things like ESG, which is very hot right now, and I think COVID has also heightened the awareness of the S part of ESG. Non-GAAP measures, by definition, those are outside of GAAP, outside of the financial statements. Key performance indicators, we see a lot of public companies these days who say earnings releases are, pretty much all KPIs. So, all those different areas, the public company auditor, the skill set that they bring to the financial statements and internal control reviews is really adaptable to these other areas. Objectivity, skepticism, standards-based analysis, the ability to bring accountability to these processes within companies. It's very transferable, and we're really trying to educate and raise awareness of the skill set that is adaptable from the auditor, from the financial statements, to these other areas of information. We started a series at the end of December of 2019 regarding the role of the auditor. This is also available on our website. We just released in early July a follow-on to that initial publication on specific to ESG and how auditors can play a role in ESG information. Quite frankly, this is this is where the market is moving. We're already seeing the auditor being asked to provide assurance on these other types of information. And that's what this resource series is designed to do and to explain how that can happen. So that's the first thing. The second thing is talent. It's probably not lost on a lot of folks. It is really hard to attract and retain younger people into the public company auditing and accounting profession. I think that's because of outdated stereotypes, the green eye shades sitting in a room with a calculator kind of thing, as well as just lack of awareness. And we really believe that the way that the profession is moving these days, with technology being used in fascinating ways, there's a great story to tell here. And so a couple years ago, the CAQ decided to we partnered with a company called Road Trip Nation, and we funded a documentary that actually debuted on PBS channels on June 6th. And it's called Making It Balance, which is just perfect for the auditing and accounting profession. And what it does is it follows 3 young people who get in an RV and they go across the country and they talk to public company auditors, some auditors who are still in the profession and others who have gone on to other exciting careers outside of the profession. I really encourage people to check this documentary out, even if you watch the trailer. If you don't have 50 minutes to watch the documentary, I guarantee you will look at auditing in a whole different light. And also the exciting thing is the 3 road trippers, as we called them, are very diverse young people. And I'm also happy to report they all went into the accounting and auditing profession. So it's a very inspiring documentary. And I think we need to do more of that to raise awareness about the profession. And then the final thing I'll mention is our anti-fraud initiatives. A lot of folks don't realize that we have an anti-fraud collaboration. So it's the CAQ individually doing this work, as well as with our partners. That would be FEI, Financial Executives International, IIA, Institute of Internal Auditors, and the NACD. So we have this collaboration. We put out a lot of resources on how all the different stakeholders in the financial reporting ecosystem has a part to play. And this is really important. It's not just the auditor. All the different stakeholders have a part to play in detecting and deterring financial reporting fraud. And you can find those resources as well on our website. And we have some specific resources to COVID-19, because if you think about the 3 legs of the fraud triangle, opportunity and, justification and, rationalization, they're all present here. And so really encourage folks to take a look at those resources. And I can't talk about COVID and the environment that we're in with really not giving a shout out to the auditing profession. the profession, working remotely and dealing with, new situations, it's kind of in their DNA. And we've heard a lot of positive feedback from board members, from management, and others in the reporting ecosystem around the ability of the public company auditing profession to really adapt to this environment and continue to drive high performance and audit quality. So really happy about that. And that TK just gives you an example of some of the initiatives that we're working on.
So I always worry about audit committee agendas because they seem so full, and whenever anybody doesn't know what to do with something, it seems like it ends up in the audit committee agenda. I think they call it audit creep. But the good thing is that, um, as you said, they're always very equipped to handle the load, and certainly it's upon them again, much like several years ago when there was a great deal of investor focus. I think that certainly has increased. And hopefully some of these programs will serve to not only build the profession so that we have great people in there, but also keep everybody aware of how valuable an audit committee is to a public company. So, where can people get, again, the access to these resources, Julie?
Sure. I think I mentioned it, the website is thecaq.org. You can also go onto the website and sign up for our many different newsletters that we have. We're going to be starting, actually, it hasn't started quite yet, but we're going to be starting, just for awareness, an audit committee newsletter. It's Right now we're thinking it's going to be monthly. That is not up and running yet, but stay tuned, it's coming. But there's an ability to check on, various boxes of what you're interested in to get our various different weekly, monthly newsletters that come out. And we're also on social media, so Twitter and LinkedIn and all the different social media sites, we're there as well.
Well, I will equally encourage our audit committees to tap those resources. I've always found them to be very valuable over the years. So, Julie, I
Thank
want to
you.
thank you for taking the time to come and join us on the show today. I appreciate, again, all that you've been able to cover in this short period of time.
Thank you so much.
And that will conclude this edition of Inside America's Boardrooms. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back again next week when we take another look at a critical topic that'll help you be a better board member or committee member. So we'll see you then.